Suspension Maxx. Introducing our Maxx Travel A-arms. This is the factory A-arm. You notice how it's flat and it's plain here? Well, we're creating this Maxx Travel A-arm with a much deeper dropout that'll give the vehicle a better ride at that higher percent. Now we're going to tell you about how the install goes. Right here is two eccentric cams, and they have the nuts on the front and the studs come through the back right here. By simply removing this nut and pulling the cam out on both sides, will free up the upper control arm and allow you to separate the control arm from the frame, remove this original A-arm, reinstall the cams in the same position, aligning the locking mechanism. There's a plastic guide here that's going to position the cam exactly in the right spot. So reuse those cams on both the front and rear, and that should get your wheel alignment very close. Step one would be safely unload the torsion bars with our certified torsion bar unloading tool, the 2011 MT. That would safely unload the torsion bars, take all the tension off the front suspension. Next, we'd remove the shock absorber completely to get it out of the way so we have room to work on the upper cam bolts. Okay, go. After safely unloading the torsion bars and having the truck fully supported on both sides, we're going to remove the 21mm bolts that secure the shock absorber to the lower control arm. At the same time, we're going to remove these plastic clips by pushing them up with a screwdriver blade and unlocking them from the truck. We're then going to remove the two upper nuts, which are a 21mm, and take the shock absorber completely out of the vehicle. After removing the shock absorber completely from the vehicle, we're going to mark the cam location. You're going to see a plastic insert here, and it's going to locate the eccentric cam, the alignment cam, with this fixed peg. You'll remove the nut, noticing that the nut is on the outside and the cam bolt is on the inside. That's true on both the front and rear. Now they're also color coordinated. You'll see one is silver, one is blue. Make sure that you keep these cam bolts positioned. The one from the front stays in the front, the hardware from the rear stays in the rear. Now you'll also remove this 18mm nut and this fixed washer from the factory control arm. That's easily done with an 18mm socket or ratchet. We're going to separate the upper ball joint nut. Now we're going to loosen the 18mm nut fully where it's not locking on the threads. Now with a little bit of tension, just what's on the suspension load, a couple hits, right there, that's going to separate that taper. You can see I'm hitting it directly on this flat boss and not hitting it on the boot or the control arm or the threads, directly right there. Once you've separated the ball joint, before taking the nut off fully, you want to make sure that you support this steering knuckle with some type of bungee cord or mechanics wire, something to keep the knuckle from just literally falling outward and putting undue angle on the CV boot. Also want to disconnect the slide mechanism for this upper cable for the ABS. Another exceptional product that's included with the Maxx Travel control arms is our Stage 2 Differential Kit. This is going to be a series of spacers that are going to reduce that CV angle when you have the Maxx Travel A-arms on. There's one for the right-hand side and two unique spacers for the left-hand side. I'm going to show you momentarily here how the bolts come out and how the spacers go in and how it's reassembled. On the driver's side, with the Suspension Maxx Stage 2 Differential Kit, you're going to get a unique spacer that lowers the differential down. There's a 15mm bolt in the front, an 18mm behind the shaft, and another 18mm bolt coming through from the top down in the back. We'll show you that also. So you simply remove those mounting bolts, taking them out directly, and the differential will lower down, allowing you to put in the specified spacer just above those bolts. We're working on the rear half on the driver's side. There's a mounting bolt coming down. You can see the threads, the head of the thread of the bolt coming through here. The middle bolt is forward, and then the clearancing needs to be done lightly right here between these two rear bolts. And that's simply done with the rotary die grinder coming in here and just lightly clearancing that aluminum. All you're doing is taking off a sharp corner that would normally touch the frame where it makes this gentle radius. So we're just going in with the die grinder and we're just nipping that away just ever so slightly so you have clearance here as the differential is lowered. Okay, we're going to talk about the full assembly all installed. You're going to have the stage 1 differential spacers on all 4 positions where these large isolation bushings are. You're going to have new grade 10.9 hardened bolts re-securing that. You're also going to have the spacers in on the stage 2 kit, which is done at these 3 mounting bolts on the driver's side and on the right hand side. All of that going together will minimize that CV shaft angle and put your truck right where it belongs.